Niedawno skończył się odcinek 42 Doom Studio. No i Tytan Zegar tam poszedł papa.
Titan here. How many weeks of waiting?
lajka.
How many spoilers? How much information? How much Dom Studio talked about the 40-second episode?
Obejrzymy sobie o tej śmierci Tytana Zegara przedwczesnej. Zobaczymy, czy w ogóle będzie.
Spoilers, including exclusive ones. And in the end, what? And I will answer you. Dom Studio did not meet our expectations. They surpassed them many times over with the freshly released 40-second episode of Skibidi Toilet.
Kurde, oni tutaj bardzo chwalą ten odcinek, a ja mam takie mieszane odczucia co do niego, tak szczerze. Nie? Nie wiem, co tak szczerze powiedzieć.
Today we will find out how strong the Titan Pencilwoman is. In other words, Catzy, as it turned out in the episode. Because as I expected, this episode was her star hour. We will understand the story arc of Sinister, try to find out who Aiza and Mr. 99 are.
Zastanawia mnie, czemu ołówki nie zadziałały wcześniej, bo miały możliwość to wszystko załatwić, nie? Zwlekały i przez to jest problem.
About the like and subscription, because our next goal is 70,000 subscribers.
Dobra.
Okay. Episode 28. She creates a giant pencil from the ground on which Sea Titan is hanging, after which this pencil disappears and gravity takes over. Pencilwoman takes off and tries to use an air kick with the pencils I spotted in the trailer in the background. However, Sea Titan grabs her with his tail and slams her to the ground, cutting off her arm and preparing to finish her off, as Pencilwoman shoots him with a core laser, an ability she demonstrated back in
ta
episode
walka,
40.
słuchajcie, była taka sobie moim zdaniem. Nie było nic wyjątkowego w tej walce.
Pencilwoman draws fighter jets and other giant pencils that are rendered useless by a freshly copied eraser before Sea Titan reaches a sphere with a trick that touches the eraser to produce particles of the color of unloaded textures. Pencilwoman turns her arm into a weapon and covers the fire in a smoke-filled area, in the middle of which is Sea Titan. However, after waiting for this to finish, he copies the chains of the Titan 2.0 drill and pulls the Pencilwoman towards him and prepares to kill him.
No ona miała strasznie miękko, nie? Prawie przegrała. I to było takie dziwne, że wiecie, Sipen jej nie wykończył.
Interview that I analyzed in my last video. Pencilmen, clockmen, and drillmen are living beings, while the rest of the Alliance races are artificial intelligence. Therefore, Titan Pencilwoman has a soul that is much older.
Wiertła ołówki mają duszę?
Than Steve's soul, which is 7 years old. I'm preparing a separate video about this, but it was worth mentioning. And from the same interview, we learned that all clockmen are capable of talking, they just have nothing to say. What if all the pencilmen and even the drillmen are able to speak, given that Catzy also spoke in this episode? Okay, ciekawe, no rzeczywiście mogą tej reszta tych jednostek mówić, no. And he in the body of Counter Titan clarifies the question that appeared in the 4th special episode, saying that he is the pilot of this Titan when his real body is in another place. Pencilwoman asks him about the murder of the children, but
a to jest ciekawe, że Sipen może być w kilku miejscach naraz, dzięki temu, że jest sztuczną inteligencją,
avoids
nie?
answering and talks about the situation with Penman in the 4th special episode and how he failed to convince him to join the aliens. He tries to convince her to join him, referring to the fact that the two of them have always had a special relation. Pencilwoman refuses, and while she tries to shut him up, C-Pen says an extremely important phrase. Together we will stop how the weakest will defeat the strongest. Given that C-Pen joined the Master because he was the strongest party, he is referring to him here, hence C-Pen wants to stop the Master. In the 4th
Czyli C-Pen chce go powstrzymać. Jakby, no niby jego działania są złe, ale kieruje się jakimś tam wyższym dobrem, czy coś takiego.
Special episode, he already had reasons, at least that everyone called him a toy, saying that as long as we need you, you will serve us, and after that we will kill you, and there will be more such reasons, one of which I will even name later, and moreover T-Rex himself said that C-Pen is ready to go against the Master, but he cannot cope alone. However, Pencilwoman missed this between her ears, and after telling this traitor to shut up, draws the giant head and arms of the Titan drill, as well as 4 large drills. By manipulating these hands to imitate the same actions with her hands, she completely destroys Sea Titan, and it is the loss of the Counter Titan's body that will become another reason for the conflict between the aliens and C-Pen. The consequence
Ale mi się wydaje, że ten, jak wiemy, ma dużą regenerację ten Tytan, więc wydaje mi się, że on wróci. Ten przeciwcy Tytan I jeszcze jak będzie miał zdolności ołówków, to będzie
This
przerąbane.
made Ketsy's head
Nie?
pencil crack, which made her sick. But at the moment when the beautiful girl falls, apparently there must be a gentleman
Sigma.
behind her
No
who will
właśnie.
take her home. And so TV Titan teleported her to the Pencilman base, which was hidden from public view by a dome created by 5 giant pencils. On the roof of one of the buildings, we can notice a strange pencil man who has a too big head, and next to him, another pencil levitates, and the camera is transported to the observation tower, where we can
Ciekawe,
also
nie?
see
Bo tam był
Pencilman
jakiś
with a red
postać, nie?
pencil. Pen Man comes out and sketches the cracks in Pencil Woman's head and says that she overdid it and she was too close to death. Ketsy says that given the current situation, they won't survive without risk. Penman says she's not the only Titan there, and speaking of risk, he looks at the main building at the base, from which helicopters take off and fix 6
No
devices
dali jej
on the
te,
tentacles of
wiecie,
the
te
pencil.
dodatki, żeby
What
ją
risk
wzmocnić.
Penman was yapping about, I will talk about later when we see what these devices are capable of. He says that he can't hold back now, and he was convinced of this by C-Pen's actions and behavior, and he decided to give all his resources
Jestem ciekaw,
to this
co on
battle,
powie na
but
temat
tells her not
Tytana
to
Zegara,
exhaust
no bo
herself, as he does not want to lose
to jest
her.
najbardziej
Finally,
niewyjaśnione,
Pencilwoman
nie?
tells him that he shouldn't blame himself for C-Peng's actions. We move on to the second storyline. The Titans receive upgrades, just like in a trailer, when suddenly TV scientist raises the problem of getting to the cruiser unnoticed.
No właśnie, i tutaj jest ten, ale ja chcę tym zegarem, nie?
From the grip of the
O
pendulums
właśnie, to
and
jest to.
flies towards Sinister, who, however, lets out the chime of the clock, which makes Clockman Titan a short headache and Clock from the future thrown back. Sinister begins to tell, timeline number 1. The Chief created you with the help of his and my powers. However, the power he stole from me was too great, and it immediately killed all the clocks. Do you know what that means? You are not the source of the power of all the clockmen. You're a little part of me. At this point,
To jest
Clockman
ciekawe,
Titan
nie?
asked Clock from the future, is he your father? To which Clock replied, are you trying to be funny? After which Sinister makes another bell sound and continues. When Chief stole my powers, I used those few seconds and slowed down time, stretching it over 1,000 years. I created the illusion of an entire multiverse in my head, testing all possible outcomes of the future, choosing my best destiny that would lead me to absolute victory. Before moving on, let's figure out what we have now. Sinister remembers everything.
No i to jest niezwykle skomplikowane. To czemu ci youtuberzy jakby pomagają temu Sinisterowi, nie? To jest ciekawe.
That is, in different timelines, roughly speaking, there are no different Sinisters, like the Chiefs, one of whom died after the resurrection of Large Clockman in the 3rd special episode, and the second at the hands of Alarm Clockman, and the same one. But what does it mean? I created the illusion of an entire multiverse in my head. To understand this, let's turn to Sinister's musical theme, which was released at the same time as the episode.
No,
There we can see
ciekawe.
different shots in the background, but we will turn to only one of them. On it, you can see the normal form of Sinister, which we saw in the last blooper, which is half underground, and he is
Serio?
immersed there by hands created with the help of time energy, and in front of him stands Clock Chief. It is clear that this is the moment when he is imprisoned, and according to my theory, a black hole instead of his head appeared at this moment when he created the illusion of an entire multiverse in his head. There is a lot to talk about on this topic, but I don't want to
kurde,
stretch the analysis.
Czyli on jakby stworzył iluzję wszechświata. Jezu, jakie to jest skomplikowane troszkę, nie? Masakra. I wtedy taką głowę miał jakby.
For 30 minutes. So after the analysis, there will be a separate video about Sinister.
No
Clockman
musimy obejrzeć o tym Sinisterze, bo to jest zagmatwane
from the
strasznie.
future creates an energy sphere from the energy of time, but Sinister destroys it with his sword, after which the shuriken of Titan Clockman flies into him. In response to this, he uses his pendulums to send Clock from the future to rest in the ruins. The Titan tries to fly into Sinister, but Sinister brushes him off and says, there are many ways in which I can be humiliated, defeated, and trapped. After all, I am not invulnerable. However, I made sure to become that way when I saw all my destinies and chose the one that would lead me to absolute domination. Stop holding back and use your best move on me.
On go podpuszczał z tym, wiecie, najlepszym
Clockman Titan
ruchem.
says, you asked for it yourself, ordering an infinite boost. He then tears Sinister apart and creates an explosion that engulfs the entire United Kingdom and reaches reaches France, considering that it was near Big Ben, with a radius of about 40 kilometers, which is quite a lot. Clockman Titan repairs himself, but Sinister, unharmed, grabs him and says, "Illusion. Was that your trump card?" And then knocks back the Titan, who prepares to use this trick again. Sinister says, "Playtime is over."
Czyli może ten Sinister jest iluzją i prawdziwy Sinister jest gdzie indziej.
He attempts to restore it, but evenly, after which Sinister uses the device on his belt, which causes Clockman Titan to fall to the ground, exhausted. Sinister repeats what he said before, and the Titan says, "Order a gravity change," but it has no effect. Sinister says, "You will try and fail, and the most satisfying part of it all is that your actions will lead to my victory. You will suffer again and again and again and again, and when you see the light of hope, you will be confronted with a truth that will destroy your soul." Now it becomes clear that Sinister already knows the outcome of this battle. That is, someone from the outside will have to intervene in this battle. And who he
No ktoś
is,
musi
we will soon find
tą
out.
jakby w jakiś sposób zniszczyć tę iluzję. Tylko ciekawe jak.
But
Bo tam jest ta kobieta jeszcze, Clock. Może ona.
Continues. Then you will sacrifice yourself by rebooting everything, and in the new world without you, I will begin my perfect domination. But then Clockman from the future gets tired of resting under the rubble, and he opens a portal to another universe and pushes Sinister there, after which he flies into it himself, after which Clockman Titan wants to go there. But it is not clear whether he still entered the portal or not. After all, he went a little in the other direction, and in the next scene, when Asa came to these ruins, there was neither the Titan
ciekawe, czy on
nor
tam
the
poszedł
portal.
za nim,
As for
nie?
Asa, seeing all this devastation, she contacts a certain Ethan, or Mr. 099, and says that the battle for the fate of the multiverse has begun since Sinister has been released. Mr. 099 tells her to bring the others, and he is on his way, after which she enters the portal. But who are they?
No co to za ludzie
this is some
są
kind of
jacyś?
higher organization that has its own goals.
A co z youtuberami? Czemu oni tam są w tym?
But this is a different case. Thus, a new fifth side appeared in the conflict.
No znowu
And in the
kolejna
final
strona,
scene,
no.
we see the same camera interceptors, one of which is piloted by the smoking cameraman, whom the yellow TV man saved in an additional scene of the 10th season. They distract and kill the Skibidi from the first line of defense as the helicopter pencils arrive after that, which open portals for the Titans. This explains a small point related to the fact that in the 38th episode, the Titan Pencil Woman teleported not from another dimension, but from the Pencilman base. They fight
Aha, no tak, z tej bazy ołówków się teleportowała, ty.
Cameraman, namely chains similar to those of the second version of the Titan Drill Man. The Titans land on one of the upper decks of the G-Cruiser, surrounded by a lot of G-men, but TV Titan is calm and advises them to look up where Titan Pencil Woman starts drawing Titans, even the first version of Titan Clockman, and what's more, Sonar Titan from Skibidi Wars. This begs the question,
To
what
jest
the hell is
niezłe,
doing
nie?
here the Sonar Titan? This raises the question of the Pencilman's abilities.
Ty, coś czuję, że więcej postaci z innych multiversów Skibidi się tu pojawi.
If a counter Titan has to scan to copy a weapon, then logically, Pencilmen can draw from memory, meaning they only need to see the Titan. If the first versions of Clock...
Ty, czyli co, te ołówki są też w innych Skibidi seriach? Skoro ona kopiuje to, co widzi, więc musiała zobaczyć Sonara, tak jak on tu mówi.
Man and Drillman Titan can
Wow.
be justified somehow. They say they saw each other before, then Sonar Titan drives me into a stupor. So Dom Studio, if you are watching this video, please write whether it is worth looking for meaning in this, or is it just a reference to Verlance. This is the end of the episode.
Ciekawe,
What I
nie?
can say, the episode really gave a lot of food for thought. I personally want to make 2 videos about the topics I voiced in this video. The 43rd episode will continue the story of Sinister and probably the rest of the Titans, but
Jestem ciekaw, słuchajcie, no czekam na ten odcinek z tym Sinisterem u niego, żeby wyjaśnić jak to... Bo kurde, szczerze to nie mam pomysłu na to, jak to wszystko działa u Sinistera.